Imagine waking up tomorrow without an alarm. No emails, no meetings, no commute. Not because you're rich in the flashy Instagram sense, but because your money quietly covers your life. Now imagine I tell you this is possible with $500,000. Most people would laugh. They've been told retirement requires 2 million, 3 million, maybe more. They've been trained to believe freedom is outrageously expensive. It isn't. The problem isn't math, it's perception. Most people confuse wealth with stuff. Bigger houses, newer cars, fancier vacations. But real wealth isn't about what you own. It's about what you don't have to do. Financial freedom begins the moment your basic expenses are covered, without trading your time for money. That's the only definition that matters. Let's talk numbers. Take $500,000 and invest it conservatively. A mix of fixed income and diversified market exposure. Nothing exotic, nothing risky. At 5%, that portfolio generates $25,000 a year. That's a little over $2,000 a month without touching the principal. At 8%, which is historically reasonable for a balanced portfolio over the long run, you're looking at $40,000 plus a year. Roughly $3,500 a month in passive income. Not luxury money, but freedom money. Here's where the shift happens. When your income comes from investments instead of effort, everything changes. You're no longer desperate. You don't accept bad jobs out of fear. You don't stay stuck because quitting feels impossible. Your time becomes yours again. And if you can live on less than your portfolio produces, something powerful happens. Your money doesn't shrink. It survives. It compounds. It outlives you. This is the difference between consuming money and deploying money. Most people approach retirement backwards. They save aggressively, then slowly spend everything down, hoping they outlive their balance. An investor does the opposite. They build an engine and live off the output. The real lever here isn't returns, it's expenses. Someone who needs $10,000 a month is poorer than someone who needs $3,000, regardless of income. That's uncomfortable to hear, but it's true. Look closely at what drains most people. Car payments that rival rent, subscriptions they barely notice, eating convenience instead of intention. None of this creates lasting happiness, but it delays freedom by decades. If you can structure a life around $2,500 to $3,000 a month, a $500,000 portfolio becomes more than enough, especially if housing is controlled and lifestyle inflation is resisted. And no, this doesn't mean living like a monk. It means spending deliberately, not reflexively. Here's what most people miss. Once your basics are covered, risk becomes optional. You can start a business without panic, learn a skill without urgency, travel without guilt. Say no and mean it. You're no longer negotiating life from a place of fear. What about inflation? Handled if returns exceed withdrawals. What about market crashes? Solved through diversification and conservative spending. What about future income like government benefits? That becomes a buffer, not a dependency. The biggest obstacle isn't markets, it's mindset. Most people never get free because they never slow down long enough to question what they're chasing. They earn more, spend more, and wonder why nothing changes. But when every dollar has a job, freedom becomes inevitable. Building $500,000 isn't about one big win, it's about consistency. Start small, increase over time, let years do the heavy lifting. Time passes anyway. The only question is whether it's working for you. This strategy isn't about retiring early, it's about owning your life. Work becomes optional, money becomes a tool, and time becomes abundant. So the question isn't whether $500,000 is enough. The question is whether you're willing to live differently than everyone else, so you don't end up exactly where they do. Your future self already knows the answer.